Welcome, Hacksters! Oh, I am so excited for today's
Yeah,
session. I've been
yeah.
talking
Well,
about
no,
this
we
a
are.
bunch. Um, so we have today for you a workshop for DevKitty, which is a kit put together by Alex Lynd, our illustrious guest leader here, who is a Hackster Pro. And would you like to tell us a little bit about the kit, Alex?
Yes, we were just on, or I was just on rather, as of last week. We did a little bit of a live stream. Some of you in the audience might have attended one of my workshops in the past. I've popped up at SuperCon, Hackers on Planet Earth, DEF CON, a whole bunch of B-sides. And I've been teaching with this little cat-shaped guy for quite some time now. It's basically a little DIY kit that you can throw together yourself. It consists of a 3D printed enclosure. It's got circuit board with components that you can solder on yourself.
Ooh.
And you can use it to learn about cybersecurity and hacking. So we've got a handful of lessons in CircuitPython and also custom firmware that you can use for USB attacks, war driving, Wi-Fi hacking, all sorts of fun stuff like that. So the focus of today is we're gonna dive into the soldering part of the class and hopefully save the CircuitPython and adversarial stuff for part 2 later this week.
Sweet. What version are we working with?
So this one's the CutieCat. I believe some of us on the stream actually have the older revision, back when it was still called the Wi-Fi Nugget. But this one is based around a form factor called the Adafruit CutiePie, also the Seeed Xiao-based. So I thought it was fitting to call it the CutieCat because Adafruit CutiePie. But yeah, it's modular. It's got a bunch of ubiquitous components that you can find on Amazon or AliExpress, like this screen, the microcontroller, pin header. And this is the version 1. It's actually a custom Hackster edition that I made. It's got the blue and gold embellishment.
Sweet. Awesome. So we're going to be going through this workshop. Who have we got on the stream? Everybody, would you like to go around and introduce yourselves? I guess first, you, Alex, we got a little bit of an introduction for you, but tell us maybe a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing cybersecurity education for a while. I've been teaching workshops since I was in high school at local makerspaces like Crash Space and Null Space over here in the LA area. I've done a handful of odd jobs in contracting for cybersecurity. Like I was working with Formula One recently. I work with a prop studio now out in New York. And when I'm not doing that, I design fun things. So the CutieCat is one of my products. I also make circuit board art. I was hoping I had one of the jewelry pieces I designed on me, but I'll show you guys that at some point in the future. But yeah, content creator, cybersecurity educator, and I make fun products.
And you were recently on Hackster Cafe. Oh, please go on. There we go.
Let me finish swallowing. I took a bite of food.
Sorry. Let me then, real quick, I'll just mention that Alex was recently on Hackster Cafe, our semi-weekly interview show. Super casual. We talked for about 45 minutes about this kit specifically. You can learn a bit more about the history of it. And we have a question already from Alpenglow. Hey, Carrie, I'm assuming what the difference is between the CutieCat and USB Nugget. And Alex actually goes into the history of all that on this interview. So you can go check that out. I think he brings up the whole like what the original Nugget was like, and then the progression of different versions of all the way to this CutieCat, and then future ones as well with the crowd supply campaign or Tindy.
Crowd supply. Tindy maybe in the future, but yeah, I was still sort of figuring out naming. I just went with Nugget because it was a cute generic cat name, but as I've solidified the product over the past 2 years. Now I'm going with CutieCat. There is some actual hardware differences too.
Awesome.
And so I'm done eating, so I can introduce myself here.
Yeah.
My name is Amelia. On the internet, I go by Ask. I've ran into Alex several different times as I've gone to maker and hacker conferences over the last several years. My professional day job, I am a staff cybersecurity engineer hacking on embedded stuff, and I'm excited to learn the CircuitPython side of things from Alex today.
Oh, yeah. How about we hear from Claire next? I think you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, so hopefully quick overview. I've been in electronic hardware for just over 5 years now, mostly open source hardware. Notably, I was a project manager at Crowd Supply, so I know a lot of projects. I've made a lot of them happen, and it helps me know a lot of cool makers. I also was with the Open Source Hardware Association for a while and helped hold the Open Hardware Summit. I previously ran a small business making and selling things at Comic-Cons and sci-fi fantasy conventions. That website was my attempt at React and JavaScript, which is not my strong suit, but I am proud of that site still running.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I am known for laser cutting. Like I make a lot of jewelry, and then LEDs. I'm an LED wizard, and I'm currently working with Ben of Electromage, who makes the Pixel Blaze LED controller, which is a really powerful little ESP32 LED controller. So, yeah, I think that's
awesome. What about Aisha?
Hey, can you see me now?
I cannot, but I'm told that other people can. So, if in the comments, if you let us know if there's any issues,
I see you, Aisha.
Yeah,
Yay.
everyone else does, so that's cool.
Okay, cool. I'm Aisha. I'm an electrical engineer for about 8 years now. So I've been working mostly on climate tech startups, done a whole variety of things, but I also make PCB art and other fun light up things, mostly for STEM outreach and mostly post on Instagram. Yeah, I just do a lot of weird, odd things to show people that they can do it too.
Yeah, and you have also been on Hackster Cafe in the past. My internet is being slow, so I haven't quite got this pulled up yet. But everyone, Aisha's also on Hackster. You've got your own Instagram that's super active. I love seeing everything that you come up with, all this sweet PCB art, and then also you have a Hackster profile with some cool programmable flowers that are light up as well. I am such a huge fan of like wearable PCB stuff, so I'm just gonna go ahead and like those as well. But so much cool stuff. And then finally, well, I guess I should introduce myself at the end, but we've also got Ginger on here.
Hi everyone, I'm Ginger. I am the used to be the contest manager at Hackster, one of the team member here. Work with Alex. So you probably have seen me at either live events or online events or our old hangout and nerd out. And now because of this new pro initiative at Hackster, I get to work with all the top contributors of our community and really help showcase their creativity, showcase their project, and help them connect with more people, with different brands. So super excited for that. And this is actually our first workshop we're doing with the pros. And so I'm super excited that we get to put together this. And yeah, I love wearable stuff too. I love cat stuff too. That's also my cat here. And this is just so awesome. And I'm super happy to share this moment here virtually with everyone, but also be able to connect it with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You and Claire have me outshined at my own show with the cat ears. I'm a little bit embarrassed, I have to say.
So I pulled up a couple of previous kitty ear projects because I thought it could be fun for people to wear these. So it turns out that Ginger has one I hadn't even seen before. We've also got these Infinity Kitty ears that Angela Sheehan put together, and apparently Claire has also created Infinity Mirror cat ears before, which I think is rad.
Speaking of Infinity Mirrors, check this out. It's a project that
1 second.
Aspmates.
Oh,
You want to tell us about
cool.
this actually? You've been working on this like as of up till today.
We keep catching you while you're eating. While you're doing that, I'll show.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Cool. Go for it.
So it's called the Infinite Wi-Fi Portal. I made it for DEF CON. It was inspired by First Tech Challenge students that asked me to make a trophy set for them. So I made several bigger ones, but I wanted to make a handheld version that you could wear around your neck. So this one's powered by AAA batteries, has like an accelerometer in it, so you can like turn it upside down and it'll dim off.
Is it playing Conway's Game of Life?
Yes, it's actually playing Conway's Game of Life. And if you notice,
specifically the little hacker.
It's going backwards and forwards right now, which normally Conway's game can't do. So And this is all running on MicroPython, so it'll be really fun to learn CircuitPython today. Yeah.
Isn't that like called a glider or something? But it's definitely been adopted by the
Yes.
hacker community as like a symbol of hacking.
This is the
Super
glider.
cool. It's a
And
little
the
like mascot.
newer one, actually, I don't have the mirror on the front of this one. You can hit the button on the back and get random themes.
Cool.
We're all just getting LED blasted right now.
Yeah. So,
Claire, do you want to tell us a little bit about your background? I noticed there's a lot of
oh yeah,
my literal background.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. It's a very
my bedroom. I live like this.
Yeah.
I practice what I call the Zen art of draping LED on it.
it looks so cool.
Yeah, I like to just pin them in place last second. Yeah, and then I this is my terrarium, and I do a lot of work and living, and apparently not everyone reacts to, you know, those daylight lights that help you with SAD syndrome. Like I live in the Pacific Northwest. Everyone always gives those to me. I'm quite sure my brain doesn't work with those and does work with rainbow lights. And so this is actually mental health.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So introducing myself real quick. I think we got through everybody else. I'm Alex. I'm the usual video host here at Hackster, but you're going to be seeing more cool people on here, which I'm very excited about. I'm really excited about the DevKitty. I've been eyeing this project for a number of years. I'm finally getting to build one soon. Although mine has not yet arrived in the mail, but I built lots of companion bots and also art PCBs and stuff. So I'm hoping that I might actually be able to mock up a DevKitty on my companion core here. I've got a bunch of different little CutiePy and Xiao format things that I might be able to spin up some kind of like a DevKitty alike, although it won't have a screen, but you know, I'll give it a shot anyway. So, and I'm wearing these cat ears from a previous workshop that we had with Anouk Vipracht a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago now, 6.5, where we made like, she designed these PCBs and these beautiful 3D printed cat ears. So more cat ears for y'all to get into the spirit with. I'm going to create a little spot where we can link all of these different cat ear projects that are on Hackster, so that you can have your own flavor of light up cat ears for the new year, because that's what we need, I think.
Do we have a cat tag on Hackster? I feel like there needs to be a dedicated like hub for cat related projects.
We definitely have a pet.
Ginger, you just created a hub for me today.
Yeah, we have like the tag systems. It's a bit, I think, outdated, but you know, like we're working on that. And I think definitely, like what Alex is saying, we'd love to maybe, you know, we can make up our own community hub. It's just like called Kitty Ears or something. And then we'll be able to submit all the Kitty Ear projects in there. Maybe that's what I'll do, you know? But there's so many different ways to use the Hackster toolings. It will be fun.
Yeah, we do have an animals hub on here with some kitty stuff. So I see that we've got the DevKitty on there. The Ginger already put it there. A litter box detector. I assume that it detects when it's full versus empty, rather than just being like there's a litter box there. But you got including more abstract, like a touchscreen mouse. Lol. And OpenCat, which has since become a whole ecosystem with Petoy of the Nibble and Bittle robot cats and dogs. Super cute. Okay, so very cool. What do we got up next, Alex?
I think in just a second, we're going to dive into assembling the kits for those of us that have them. I think, Ginger, you might be the only one that has a kit at the moment. But don't worry, we've got one over here, and we'll walk through the assembly. I do want to pull up my Hackster page, though, so you guys can take a look at that. All future tutorials are going out there. And just this morning in a Starbucks, I took all the product photos and all the assembly photos for this guide. So I hope you guys appreciate this. If you want to switch over to my screen, or if one of you has my guide pulled up already.
I do not see your screen in the options, but go ahead and share it if you like. In the meantime, everyone, this is a new tutorial you can find. Just look for building your... In fact, I should go ahead and just feature this so that it comes up. But in a second, we'll get Alex's screen up here too. I see your screen. I'm waiting until it's...
If you want to scroll through, actually, that'd be fine.
Sure. Here we go.
Yep, I just
Building
threw
your
that
own
together
cat
this
theme.
morning. This is what we're going to be following along with today. We're kind of working around the fact that FedEx wasn't able to ship everyone their kits in time, unfortunately.
Tis the
So
season.
if any of you guys in the audience are watching and you are part of the giveaway, your kits are going to be coming later on this month, hopefully. And you can follow along with this in the future. But yeah, we're going to walk through the assembly. I'm briefly going to show you guys some of the firmwares that I've developed for things like USB attacks, wireless reconnaissance, and CircuitPython, and poke around at that a little bit. Then later on this week, we'll do a more extensive deep dive into some of the actual use cases for this tool.
Cool. Shall I pull up your screen now?
Oh no, that's all I had for this guy.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
go ahead and
CircuitPython-
feature this.
CircuitPython's actually really interesting. Amelia was just talking about using MicroPython for programming some of this stuff here. MicroPython and CircuitPython on microcontrollers is just, it's a very interesting paradigm. I don't know if any of you, Aisha or Claire or Alex or Ginger, have worked with CircuitPython before. But
I
like,
have.
okay, sweet. Yeah, the typical paradigm is like Arduino's been a thing for a long time. You'll develop your firmware, you'll flash it onto a microcontroller, and it'll run bare metal. But it's like CircuitPython is a firmware itself. It doesn't run bare metal, but it's an interpreter that lets you run live code. And it's crazy how powerful it is, honestly. You can host an entire captive portal while also like doing animations. And it's actually quite insane what you can do on $2 to $3 of silicon these days, which is how much an ESP32 costs. So I'm really
And this is an
excited to
ESP32 S3, right?
We are using an ESP32 S3. So
Yeah.
what's really neat about the ESP32 S3, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth, so that's great for the reconnaissance and hacking applications, but also native USB, so it can emulate USB devices. So what this means for CircuitPython is it's really easy to interact with code because it mounts as an actual flash drive on your computer and you can just drag and drop code files right over. You can literally edit the code inside of Google Chrome or a text editor on your computer instead of like the traditional way, which is you have to install all these drivers and libraries and all these things for like Arduino or C. So CircuitPython is a really great beginner-friendly way to start programming.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you've worked with CircuitPython. What have you done before?
Oh man. Let's see. Well, just recently, I think the other day, wasn't it? I was working with CircuitPython. Yeah, the other day. So David Groom and I, he's the community editor at Make, and also a Hackster Pro. I've been working with this Signaloid C0 microSD device that is an FPGA in the form factor of a microSD card, which has a ton of applications I'm not going to go into. It's super cool though. And David and I decided to get it up and running on the Cardputer, which is one of their examples that they have on their crowd supply page. They just finished. Congratulations. And so one thing that you can do with that is you can actually run CircuitPython on this thing and get it to talk to the FPGA and then run little commands and have it do uncertainty, do calculations on values that have uncertainty or tolerance values and then plot them on the screen, which is ludicrous. And I would do it here in a second, but it's just loading up now and it looks so cool when you do it. So that was actually just last Friday. So, but I've also done some like LED stuff. Love CircuitPython because you don't have to worry where you stored your code. It's on the device. If you want to tweak it, you just plug the device into any computer, edit the file that's on there like a flash drive, and then save it. And then it runs. It's beautiful. Like you were saying.
Into the stock, which then will power.
Wait, sorry. We're currently figuring out my power situation since my computer is
Gotcha.
about to die. But beautiful.
Let's have a look at some of these comments. We got more love for Claire's background. It's so good. Tony mentioned
Claire, you
this is
mentioned
like
some of the stuff that you've done with Pixel
yeah.
Blaze. I know that's also an ESP32. I know that's also an ESP32 based system. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that and some of the cool blinky things you've made?
Claire's still muted.
Yeah, I do that myself a lot. Don't worry about it.
I'm just not gonna, thank you. I'm not gonna remember that. Okay, so I can absolutely talk about LEDs and Pixel Blaze all day, but I want to start with how, since I worked at Crowd Supply, I've actually got some like very large scale knowledge that for, I'd say 3 years now or so, any project that people really want to buy is using something like CircuitPython or USB-C also, and of course an ESP32, because part of that is that through the chip crisis, it was consistent. So that's part of what boosted it into everything right now, but it's also just solid, it's cheap, it's really useful. So the ESP32 is also what the Pixel Blaze uses, and we're a full-time business. Yeah, so the Pixel Blaze is really underneath. It's that loveliness of ESP32. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. We use the Wi-Fi. And let me see. Okay, I'm
These
running.
interfaces are incredible.
Yeah, I'm using Pixel Blazes on everything you see in my space. That's just something I'm used to. And I actually do have. Give me 1 second. I have my own interface pulled up on an iPad, and this is what's running the LEDs behind me. And you can see how it will just live update that fast. I tap on it and it updates.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's, you know, the power of a really good interface, which is like a lot of what we've done that's really incredible, and then really optimizing the hardware. And it comes in an exceptionally small package. You can put, you know, ESP32s in a number of sizes. You can put it into your little kitty board, and that's fun. Or something tiny like this.
You also have this really cool document. Let me pull it up real quick. So here's the Pixel Blaze page you've been talking about. Everyone, you can just look at that. And then Claire has this incredibly in-depth guide, like so many pages and pages and pages, with a really nice index system, like tons of info, but really nicely organized. Would you like to tell us about this real quick?
Sure. Yes. Sorry, for some reason I thought there was going to be more. No, yeah. That guide comes out of how I pivoted into quote unquote tech from a quote unquote non-technical background. I've made things my whole life. I've worked with LEDs before, but I just didn't feel power over it. And over about 2 or 3 years, I switched over to feeling a lot of agency and power over understanding the sandbox of LEDs. And every time I'd learn something like, that's how USB power works, you know, like, oh, that's how you run cables that far and the effect that has on power and the effect it has on light. All of that, I had a fire hose going on that I was doing myself. And part of my processing is to explain it to people, very kind of Feynman style. I just do that better than just taking information in. And I have a community of people, a lot of whom are burners, a lot of whom are artists. I have a lot of artists who want to work with LEDs in my community who are femme or queer. They categorically feel like they can't do tech. And so I just had a fire underneath me to do whatever I could for 2 or 3 people in my community. And I wrote that guide. And I wrote it in a way where I could update it all of the time. It's been edited for years. It's also very purposefully a Google Doc because I think that's very grassroots, mutual aid. People understand a Google Doc. A lot of non-technical people find it friendly. And I'm not pitching it towards really technical people, so it's not on GitHub, right? So it's done its job, but it does need to evolve at this point. I think I'm going to turn it into a small book for the things I can, but then keep it in this form because it is mostly resources I've found also all in one place in links. Yeah.
Like this one I think is really cool. The where did you get?
Yeah. So I had to do that out of, I don't know, survival, because I get people demanding to know where I get my LEDs pretty much constantly. And so I link to everything like live. As soon as I find a new really cool form factor, I link it in that section.
And everyone, you can find this through Claire's link tree, which is just linktree.e. I'll put it on the screen in a minute, but / Claire Danielle Cassidy, as you see here. Yeah, you can find all that good stuff there. Right, yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
How's it going? We suddenly seem to have lost Alex's audio. It's doing a static. No prob. In the meantime, we got a comment from Tony. It is exactly like the Wi-Fi USB nugget. That is
Can you hear me?
Alex's previous project in this same ecosystem.
Can you hear me all right, or is it
Yeah,
garbage?
sounds good.
Okay, sweet. I was asking Claire what her favorite LED form factor is. I've been working with the
Ooh.
very ubiquitous WS2812Bs, and that's what we'll take a look at during the CircuitPython part of the class. But the APA 102s are the new hot thing. I notice they've got them now in like 2020 or even 1515 form factor.
Ooh.
There's a lot of crazy lights.
Yes. I mean, favorite, it depends on the application, but the hot stuff at this moment is, like you said, these people call these 2020s because you've seen larger strips, these standard strips. The pixel size is 5 by 5 millimeters. That's 50/50. These are 2 by 2 millimeters, so they're 2020s. And that's micro itty bitty bitty, and people love them very much. They're the same type of pixel, though they're 2812s. So easy to use.
And once again, here is that URL for Claire's link tree with the intro to LED strips, and also the where did you get section where you can see exactly what she's using. Typical.
If I can find a screenshot of it before we dive in, the new edition that's coming out on Crowd Supply that we talked about last week is using really tiny 2020 LEDs. And we were also talking about just how small Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips have shrunk down now with the availability
Yeah,
of the
let me pull this up real
ESP32.
quick.
This form factor is going to be like a quarter of the size. It's going to be pretty
Wow.
awesome.
We've got DevKitty, the Crowd Supply campaign here. Whisker is launching soon, so go check it out. You can sign up for updates, go subscribe, and you'll get emailed every time there's something. Well, especially like once it opens and you can order one. But this one has antenna connectors on it, which is very exciting new stuff.
Oh yeah, that's part of what I want to feature once I get a chance to update that Hackster doc. But I really designed this around modularity. I want people to be able to buy one product and not have to get like the pro version, or like, I just want them to have one platform and be able to iterate on it. So I tried to make this as modular as possible. It's built around a microcontroller that you can just buy existing breakouts for. Like if you look up Seeed Xiao or Adafruit CutiePy, you can find breakout boards in that form factor that you can just sandwich on top.
I actually grabbed a bunch of these, so like, let me pull this up.
Oh, awesome.
So in prep for this, since my kit didn't come, I was like, maybe I can sort of blast through it with one of these other ones. So we've got an ESP32 SD. Oh, focus issues. That's fine. There's a Xiao ESP32 S2, which I think is the same one that we're using, or S3 rather, the same one you're using in the CutieCat. But then also we've got the original Xiao. Which was that, a SAMD21 or something? There's an RP2040 You've got a CutiePy that I think is based on the SAMD21, the original one, but both of these come with a bunch of different chips available. So whatever you want to work with, there's RP2040 versions. You got SAMD51s, NRF52840s, all kinds of different stuff. And this one you can see has a little breakout on it for a camera, which is redonkulous. It's just so it's bizarre what you can do with these kind of things and these form factors now.
Currently working on getting my mic swapped out because I hear that it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if you can confirm this.
I think it sounds okay, but you know, I support good audio. In the meantime, we have a question. Would DevKitty be good to reverse engineer to talk to a Bosch e-bike controller? I suppose it depends on the
vehicle related. Do you know what an e-bike controller might be using?
So the e-bike controller's probably got a JTAG or SWD breakout on it, and I haven't used an ESP32 for this, but I have used an RP2040, so the Pi Pico W, to create a $4 SWD controller that you can then use like OpenOCD to connect with. So if you know what the CPU is on the e-bike, you can directly connect and dump the memory.
I was not familiar with OpenOCD. Check this out. Open on-chip debugger.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Very cool.
And depending on if they locked down their chip or not, you might be able to do step-by-step debugging and flash your own like modifications to the binary without actually, doing a full flash.
Rad. There you go. Thanks for your expertise.
You're welcome.
This is so cool.
Yeah, kind of the original like ideation or the reason why I created this project was to make hacking more accessible, like to create kind of like a physical tool that you can hold in your hand. I found that like when I was trying to get started with hacking, a lot of the resources that were out there we're just kind of, well, for one, banal. There's a lot of YouTube videos about, like, I don't know, SANS training for cybersecurity, and it's just like some old guy talking about cybersecurity standards or whatever. A lot of existing tools are also just black boxes. It's a lot of things built around Raspberry Pis, single board computers. It's like a lot of
knockoff ESPs.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of all-in-one tools that are meant to be like a comprehensive solution, multi-tool amalgamation of stuff to put all the possibilities in one place. The hardware was bad. The resources were bad. What I wanted to do was create something cute that would kind of gamify that. So I was like, why not make something cat shaped? I love cats. So the inspiration for this was like, it's a Game Boy. It's like a familiar console form factor. There's a cat that walks you through lessons on Wi-Fi exploits and that kind of thing. So there's custom firmware that I'm developing that's geared towards that. As far as like reverse engineering goes, that's something that I haven't dived into. But there are tools for the ESP32, like you were talking about, like OpenOCD. If that is a hot enough topic and people want reverse engineering, maybe that's something that I'll develop resources for in the future. But as far as current capabilities go, you can check out that crowd supply campaign. We've got the USB attack firmware that I've been developing for 2 years. It's Ducky script compatible, so if you're familiar with any of the Hack 5 tools, like the USB Rubber Ducky, or any of those other like keystroke injection tools, it uses the same scripting language. You can also do war driving, so you can use this to drive around like a neighborhood, or in my case, when I moved from California to New York, I had this turned on the whole time, and we mapped all the Wi-Fi networks that we passed by driving across the entire country. And you can put this on a map. You can create fun little visuals with this. I talked about this in the interview that I did last week. And then CircuitPython.
But your cafe.
CircuitPython is really great for just creating quick and dirty electronic prototypes.
Super cool. All right. So we've got, I think, about an hour left. Shall we dive in? Yeah. Cool. Or maybe half an hour.
About some of the projects that you've worked on. I know you've touched CircuitPython before we dive in. Did we lose Aisha?
Yeah, she had to tap out, but she's, I think, watching the stream and in the comments. So you can feel free to drop something in the comments, Aisha.
Cool.
I was actually wondering about the Tamagotchi thing. Has anyone made like a Tamagotchi application for the DevKitty?
I made an attempt. Let me see if there's still pictures on the internet. There is Ponagotchi. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a Raspberry Pi-based project. Claire, do you have one?
I actually grabbed mine because I wanted to mention that you're doing something extremely cool with a legacy of gamifying war driving. Yeah. I need to plug it in, but you can see, because it's a e-ink screen, you can see the shadow, the legacy of its little Tamagotchi face that is actually run by a little AI program, essentially, and it will not only give you feedback through its emoji faces about if it thinks you're doing well or not, it really wants to find handshakes, and so it'll be happy when you do that, but it will learn how often you give it handshakes. When you walk around, its rate of things and distance, and it will react accordingly. So if you usually feed it a lot and then you feed it less, it'll get upset at you.
We got some love for your background and your necklace, which we can pull up in a sec. It's the Lux Lavalier. But while we're on the subject, I wanted to share, I, of course, got the Flipper Zero here, and another one that I think the Ponagotchi was definitely first. Mine's mad at me for not using it enough, but similar idea. You know, all kinds of different apps that we've got for it, where you can make it do like GPIO stuff. There's all kinds of apps. They've got an app store that you can load stuff onto it from a mobile thingy. But enough about that. More about, there's the Ponagotchi here that Claire was just showing off, and the Lux Lavalier, which is your necklace. Got a heart-shaped one of those.
I found what I was looking for.
Oh,
so
sweet.
one of the old CircuitPython demos that I used to do. Can you see my screen? Am I still sharing?
I'm adding it now. There we go.
Okay, cool. This is an old article that The Verge did back when it was still called the Wi-Fi Nugget, but you can see one of the like Ponagotchi type faces that I made for it. This was from a CircuitPython demo, actually. One of the classes that I taught was using promiscuous Wi-Fi scanning to detect if someone is trying to break into your network. So I created like a really simple Wi-Fi intrusion detection system for my students. They got to code this in CircuitPython. They got to create their own little animations for it. Let me see if I have the Halloween themed edition class. This was really fun.
Oh my gosh, I don't turn off a MacBook.
They got to program their own holiday themed lights. So this was the Halloween themed edition. It's got like a jack-o'-lantern face and a little LED light strip around it.
So cute.
To detect Wi-Fi attacks. So anytime someone runs like a deauthentication attack or a man in the middle or something like that, it'll light up the strips with their own custom animation. So hopefully everybody will be able to try that out in the second part of this class that's running later this week when the rest of you get your kits and get to solder it together and everything like that.
Yeah, we'll be doing that on Friday. So everyone, I'm going to take back the screen share real quick. You can find our virtual events playlist where you'll be able to sign up for the second session, which is running this Friday. That'll be live streamed as well. We're going to record some stuff, I think, first, and then broadcast it live along with some extra info. And then also, in our finale and grand prize drawing for Hackster Holidays, which you can find by clicking on the present up here, we'll be giving away, as we've mentioned before, about a dozen more of these. So you can sign up for the giveaway and then also select this as one of the bundles. And then tune in for the live streamed finale and giveaway drawing, and you'll be able to find out if you've won. We'll also email you if you win. So you could win your own version of the DevKitty with the special Hackster branding for Hackster Holidays. So exciting. You can be part of that. It'd be awesome.
With that, I think we're ready to throw them together. So we've got a kit on our end. Ginger, you've got yours. Alex, while we dive into the documentation,
I'm just gonna hang out.
Yours has arrived? Okay.
Sure, yeah,
And
actually
Claire
go for it.
has one of the older versions on hand. Hey.
Sorry,
Ooh,
I'll put this away again. But Ginger, you have the capability to control the screen and pull stuff up while I duck out for a sec. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, but maybe so I got like a full kit here, right? Should we do like a quick just unboxing? Look at what's in there?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the cute kitty box. And once I open this, right, this like super cute little box, we have the, I think Alex hand put these all together. There's a 3D printed case.
I did put these all together painstakingly by hand.
Yeah.
There's also surface mount components on there too. I hand soldered those. I'll have you know.
Yeah.
We really
wow. Okay. Yeah. So Alex, maybe so there's also a little cute cat tag. This is going to be one of the payload, right, Alex?
It's a little keychain. It's actually a PCB keychain. My friends at PCB Way manufactured those. So
okay. So
you put on your keyring.
You can. Oh, I thought this was like a tag for Kitty.
You could put it on your cat. Actually, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I thought that's something you can hack into, and then you can make this like GPS tracker thing for like kitties and stuff. Some really cool stickers. For the Hackster giveaway ones, we're gonna throw in some Hackster stickers as well. We have a really cute cat things, and here are these components. I'll open the bag right now so we can kind of live unboxing this. So we have here's a main controller that Alex showed a little bit earlier, but it's a Seeed Studio shell, the ESP32 S3. And there are some headers. There's a little screen here. Alex, you want to talk through this while I'm like putting these up?
Yeah. If you want to switch over to me real quick, I can talk about, or I can talk while you hold up the components.
Okay.
So kind of my design process with this was I wanted it to be as open and able to be replicated as possible. So I tried to pick ubiquitous components that you can find on Amazon or whatever have you. That particular screen, it's called the SH1106. It's 128 by 64 pixels, which is good enough for most things. Like the Flipper Zero uses that exact same resolution You can do some bitmaps. You can get icons and numbers and graphics and all the things you really need in that size. It's also monochrome, so it's just black and white. And it interfaces over I2C. So if you're not familiar with I2C, this is a communication protocol for sensors and all things related, like screens can use I2C, temperature sensors, all sorts of things like that. And what's great is you can have pretty much an indefinite amount of things sharing this bus. You only need 2 pins. It's got serial clock and serial data. You can see the screen that I'm holding up here. You can see there's 2 power pins, VCC, ground, and then serial clock and serial data. You only need those 2 pins to drive this screen, and you can also have other stuff hooked up to that same bus as well. So when we take a look at CircuitPython later on this week, we'll look at interfacing with some other sensors. And literally, you can use a microcontroller as small as this that has like very limited pinouts and just hijack the same existing I2C bus that the screen is using. Just stack on or plug in as many things as you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the screen. There's the pin headers. There is the microcontroller, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There's not a lot in this kit.
Right. So Alex, like from your assumption, once people get the kit, how fast can they actually put it together in terms of assembly? And we're gonna challenge that time.
Am I the one being challenged, or who's?
Well, me, right? I'm the one that's
okay.
I think the only one that can put together.
I'm confident in you, Ginger. I think you can do it in less than 30 minutes.
In less than 30 minutes. All right.
Yeah, in my workshops, I'm able to guide beginners through it in about 30 minutes to an hour. So
30 minutes
and
to an
Ginger
hour.
already definitely knows how to solder.
I think you
so
can do it in less time.
we have about 30 minutes technical
station here. Let's let's perhaps do it and see if we can do it in like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
And then Claire's occupied with her own task. She's messing with LEDs.
I am. I'm still trying to flash this. It's very, very close. It just needs to reset. So maybe we can talk, Alex, and I'll figure it out. No pressure.
Awesome. Let's see who wins. All right. So we're going to dive into the assembly.
Cool.
Shall we? Or actually, while we get our document camera set up, do we want to switch over to your screen real quick, Ginger? We can talk about some of the soldering tools that we're using before diving in.
Soldering tools, what are our pro tips here for soldering tools?
What are you using?
I mean, me personally, I prefer the TS80. That's my favorite soldering iron. But the one that I'm borrowing today is this TS101 from Amelia. What I love about these is they're really modular, really portable. They come right apart. So if you want to swap different tips,
we got the
you can get a pointy tip. You can get a chisel tip.
The B2 is a really good standard tip, but if you're doing a lot of LEDs or big pads, you want to get a chisel tip like what Alex is going to be using today.
I've just been handed a whole bunch of different soldering implements.
Oh, wow.
And, I noticed, Claire, you also have...
I have a pencil, with the clear case.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the clear case on yours? It's a prison pencil.
So cool.
I mean...
I'm going to be assembling something else, but using the FixHub portable FixHub soldering kit that's mounted on a giant battery, and then you can like move this thing around. And I've got a small pointy tip on it, but I'm going to be eventually getting some more tips. Not quite as modular.
You can't pull enough with that.
Yeah, not quite as modular, but they look gorgeous. I've been honestly.
They look gorgeous. They're really portable because of the power bank, that's really high powered and has a ton of battery on it, and they've got a locking USB cable.
No, we can try that.
My portable is actually bigger than yours to do.
Oh, how dare you!
Yeah. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying yours is great.
I had to say it. Sorry. Okay, what do we got going on here? Check it out.
So Claire,
they're still setting up their camera, so I'll leave it. What's up?
Sorry. So Claire, when you travel, like, what's your travel gear?
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, Alex is okay if I do that for a second?
Please. Or yeah, I assume.
I've got
multiple Alexes. Confusing.
That's true. I'm addressing you both at all times.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do have my portable kit right here, so it's easy. I find that since I do LEDs in the field a lot, it's kind of a slapdash. Like, I don't make it look nice, but this is my wall plug little robot, and its face actually lights up when I plug it in. So it's got a bow on the back.
Oh my god, so cute.
Yeah,
I need a link for that. Oh my god.
I need things to be aesthetic. This is from Amazon, AliExpress.
Wow.
Yeah, AliExpress is really good. And then I've got just a little brass cleaner. These are necessary, and in my opinion, you can't get them smaller than this. Someone prove me wrong. I would love that, but this is my portable one. And then I switch around between batteries that I use, but if I want to make sure that it's like very steady power, I'll use this. And then I've got 2 pairs of jewelry pliers. I come from a jewelry background, and I cannot tell you how these flat nose needle nose with cutters are crazy useful, and I don't see them in tech space. So that.
Right.
Nippers, of course. And then I use a real dingy little helping hands. It's one of those
I
like
like to call those helpless hands. Those are terrible.
Get a PC bite. Do yourself a favor. Get a PC bite.
I get it. Every time I pull these out, absolutely everybody hates them. They work well enough for me.
Yeah, legit.
I'll upgrade eventually, but like I just love this one. Couple of alligator clips from Lee Borg because they're prettier, they're colorful.
Mm.
Oh wow, yeah. I think I ordered some of those too. Yeah.
Good
I
for
got
this.
yeah at Open Hardware Summit. You always get those in one of these workshops.
Mhm.
So colorful, love that.
These are on Leeborg's store, which I'm just loading up here. Here we go. Colorful alligator clips, $20.
Mhm.
I love
Canadian,
it.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much cool stuff. Zines, 555 enamel pin. I will say, since you mentioned it, they have this entire kit for soldering, and I know that like, this isn't for everybody, but since you ask, this does include a tiny little brass coil in a silicone parrot case,
Oh my god, that's
right?
awesome.
And it's all in a little like roll-up tool kit thing like this,
Yeah.
and there's spots for extra tips. The one cool thing about this thing is that it works as a stand. It's got a little built-in stand and also places to mount the soldering pen onto it. But your thing is rad.
No,
You've
I
got
get it. That
some
thing is
other
smexy.
stuff.
I've totally been drooling
Little
over it.
smexy.
Yeah, I get it. I just have
It's an
slapped my
investment
hand.
though,
Mm.
but like yeah. They also have this little sort of non-third handy thing where you can stick PCBs in it, you can stick spliceable wires in it. It's also made of a sort of grippy silicone and it's magnetic. So it comes with a little silicone pad to solder on as well. So all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah. Also, you know, one of my favorite things for portable soldering is just a manicure kit. Like, you would not
Yep.
believe how good nail clippers are for stripping and cutting wires on the go. And then,
100%.
right? And then
Yeah.
little pushy things and like spready things for hot
I just use my teeth,
glue.
personally.
It's so
Don't.
good.
The
Teeth
tweezers
are
are better.
cool,
The
not
tweezers are better in
cool.
makeup space.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
good tweezers.
Tweezers.
Yeah.
Yeah. These
Get
are
a nice pair of
like
wire strippers. Save your. Oh, I have
I
that
also-
first.
I find
I'm
that
lazy, so I always use just clippers for stripping wires. You know, sometimes
Why
I
do you
end
need
up
all
getting
that
a
when
couple
you've
of
got
strands
this
in there. But...
here? Those
What?
TSA can confiscate that, but I've got teeth, is what I'm saying. You know?
They've never confiscated my manicure stuff. I will say that. Like nail clippers, almost never get taken. I've never had a pair
They
of nail
let me on the
clippers get
plane with
taken.
my full soldering iron kit. They don't care.
So they do sometimes. I've had them take away my soldering iron. Like they let me keep the
Oh, yeah,
rest
they
of the
totally take that away. Yeah.
They
of
take
the
away
stuff.
screwdriver bits, but they let me get away with like pliers and everything else.
It's
They've
so
taken away my nail
variable.
clippers though.
I've got a full
I've had
soldering iron
a.
kit with battery.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. I went
It's
through kind of like
arbitrary.
a travel thing on last year all over the world. Well, not all over the world, but you know, in a lot of like less known places, you know, that at least I've been to, and there are, you know, especially when you don't speak the language and going through customs and you have like really weird stuff in your bags, you know, like you can get confiscated really fastly.
And like
You
this
have
is
a Leatherman
technically a
skirt, you're
compliant
so
knife,
lucky.
but I've had this taken away as well.
Yeah.
I had the ES4 for a while, which had the wire strippers on it. Adafruit was selling
Love that one so
some of
much.
those, but I lost them because they're so small.
Oh.
I'm jealous.
They
of
took
that.
away my one with the wire strippers on it. This is the one that has the pliers, and it's cool, but it's not quite as good.
All right. Okay,
All right.
Alex,
I'm ready to dive
are
into
you ready?
something. All
You
right.
ready? Okay.
All right.
Cool. So we can start with the PCB. All of the components that are surface mount are already soldered on there for your convenience. Try to get this angle a little bit better. So it already comes with 4 buttons and like a D-pad form factor kind of thing. It's got a NeoPixel light that you can program in CircuitPython. I'll check that out later on. Then on the back side, pretty much all that's on there already. You've got a micro SD card. This is useful for storing payloads, like if you're doing keystroke injection attacks, or if you're saving like wireless reconnaissance data. It's nice to be able to just pop an SD card in and out. Then, of course, you've got the interface here for sensors. This is Quick Connect. So Adafruit sells a whole bunch of sensors that you can chain together over I2C, the same bus that the screen is using. And then also I've got a little UART breakout here too. So if you're using like a GPS module that only has serial like RX and TX, that's broken out here conveniently. So as far as components go, I usually start with the microcontroller. So you can get your ESP32 Xiao style board ready.
It does say step 1 on the board.
It does. It does. It's right there. Can't miss it. There's 2 ways that you can mount it. So what's nice about this particular microcontroller is it's castellated. I wish I could get this to focus a little better. But what that means is the edge here is plated with immersion gold. So instead of having to use pin headers to mount it to the circuit board, you can literally just put it on the circuit board and run blobs of solder right off of here. And that gives you a nice flush mounting. You don't need that extra standoff space. You can just stick it right on. So what this means is like for a machine that's assembling this, it can just pick and place the component and solder it on, or you can also do this yourself. I still included the option though, if you're a beginner that's more comfortable with through-hole soldering, to add pin headers. So you'll see that the pads on the PCB are fat enough for castellation. But if you'd prefer to use pins, you can go the easy route with through-hole soldering and mount those on too. But
so Alex, if you do the through-hole soldering, it doesn't just goes into this little blocks right here?
Yeah, exactly. The only caveat with that is you will need to snip off the pins that are sticking out of the front side. So I prefer to do it castellated.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to scroll down to the first instruction where we mount the microcontroller. Basically, all you need to do is start by just adding 1 blob of solder to any arbitrary pin. So I'm going to do that. So I've added 1 blob of solder here. What this will let me do is just hold the microcontroller in place. So instead of just sticking it on and starting to solder immediately, I add a single blob. It's cooled down. I can reheat it. I can position the microcontroller where I like. Then I can let it cool back into place again. Might need a fatter blob because this one's not behaving quite well.
Definitely
all right, it's
helps
cooled
to
down
add
and the
flux.
microcontroller stuck. So the reason why I only did 1 tack at this point is like if I need to readjust it, I only have to reheat that 1 blob that's
That looks
there.
beautiful.
Yeah, if you don't do the single tack like Alex is doing and you do them all, it's almost impossible to take it back off and straighten it again.
Right.
Works for all kinds of stuff. Headers, other things.
Have you started, Ginger?
Yeah, I've started.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
It's a race. I'm going to go ahead and solder the rest of the pins too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to switch back over to me, or if
Sure.
Ginger wants to angle her camera down. We could have a little side-by-side race.
No,
You go to the.
I'm not going to try to race today if I can put this.
I wish I could put you 2 side by side. Unfortunately,
I know.
it's all or nothing.
For me, I had to, like I said, I've been traveling, so I'm doing like this co-working shop stuff. Like literally my soldering iron came from Amazon this morning. So I'm
Oh, wow.
trying
Oh,
to,
wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
While we're doing that, I've got one or two things that I think are hot
Ooh.
soldering tip, which is in my kit. I've actually got a magnetic USB-C to C. It's got little magnets on the cable, and I actually find this to be, it's also silicone, so it's heat resistant. And this is so useful. It kind of just sticks to itself and all my little metal bits, and I actually love that. So I found those, they're on AliExpress. They're also on Amazon. And these are I'm only ever doing fine wires with LEDs, and these are at Harbor Freight for $3. And they're my favorite strippers. So.
Wow. I'm gonna have to ask you for more links. I feel like every time we chat, I'm like, where the and you know, that is in Claire's like, where did you get that stuff for the LEDs? But so much experience that you have, just like this depth of knowledge about different cool tools and stuff. It's incredible.
I call myself a resource dragon. It's something I love.
But you're not hoarding it. You're like sharing it and hoarding it at the same time, which is amazing.
That's true.
This is what I've been working with. It's like
Ooh.
my somewhat travel compliant kit. It's actually a rollout bag from
Ooh.
Hack5, one of the companies
Nice.
I contract for. But I've just got a basic pair of cutters. For some reason, they let cutters pass, not pliers. I don't know why. Maybe it was the link, but they took away my pliers. I've just got an assortment of different files. Files are always really useful. All sorts of
Oh yeah, when you get to the event and it's like my 3D print doesn't quite fit.
I've got some basic tweezers for surface mount stuff, and then also an X-Acto knife. Unethical tip. I don't know if it's unethical, but if you just sandwich razor blades between your credit cards, they get past fine. So I've always got X-Acto knife blades on me for when I need to cut stuff. And then also a soldering iron too.
So many good tips. I will say in my manicure kit, it also comes with files. So there's so many good things in that, as well as little hooky, scrapey things. Another thing I love for a portable kit is the OmniFixo. So this little guy is very lightweight. It's got a magnetic base plate and little magnetic angly guys that have a right angle perpendicular grabby thing. So unlike alligator clips, you end up with a straight grab, so it's not going to like wiggle around. Plus they've got silicone coverings so they don't mar the surface or conduct electricity. But you can also like use these as spade connectors, clamp on something to them with an alligator clip, or even just like a spade connector. And then you can have them, if you take off the little silicone tips, you can use those to conduct stuff and then move them around and stuff. I don't know, it's a really cool kit. It also makes a really cool display when you're done with building your thing, or if it's partway done, you can make a little DIY exploded view in real life, which I think is pretty cool.
Content creator hot tip.
Yeah, I've totally used this as like a backing display thing. Right now I've got one of those horrible third hands in the background holding this Hackster logo I poorly 3D printed. But these, yeah, the Arduino little synth kit I had displayed like exploded while I was working on that.
Oh no.
Harbor Freight strippers that don't suck? Yeah, Claire. People are excited.
Like, I'd say a good 20% of their stuff rocks. You just have to figure it out. You know,
I like the rip-off Pelican cases. Those are pretty great.
They're so cheap too.
Yes.
Hot tip.
Buy a tool till it breaks from Harbor Freight and then go get a nice one.
That's the way to go.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah, you know, if
If you're not
Alex,
breaking your tools, you're not doing it right, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not protective of my tools. I like using them.
I have one screwdriver. I'll hunt you down if you don't return it.
Alex, how are you doing? Are you
pretty good? How are you coming, Ginger? I've got 10 joints down. I took a little bit of a pause.
This is the children's show.
Hey.
You can't talk about joints.
Solder joints. You know, it's fun.
What?
We're just smoking up some solder
Oh,
joints.
that kind of duh. I was thinking like elbows. I'm too innocent for this world.
I could actually switch over to my document camera. I guess I'll give a little bit of insight, you know, if you haven't soldered before, kind of how this works.
Yeah.
Kind of what I like to do is try to contact as much surface area as possible. Like obviously with soldering, you're heating up this stick of metal. You're trying to get it to like a melting point. to create an electrical and mechanical connection, right? So you want to try to heat up both elements at the same time. There's the pads that are on the microcontroller itself and also the pads on the circuit board. What's ideal is making contact between both of them simultaneously so they both heat up and feed in the solder, and you get a nice, good distribution. Oh, will it focus that close?
It should.
Oh, beautiful. So what I do is I try to get the iron to make contact with both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, I'm seeing myself from like a POV perspective. I'm not actually looking at the circuit board. So with this chisel tip, I'm trying to get it to touch both pads. I'll feed in the solder, and I can kind of coerce it to go where I want. Like I want some on the top, some on the bottom. I can move the stick around. I'll take off the solder first, and then the iron, and then it's good to go. What happens if you do it the other way around, though, which some beginners make this mistake? So if you take off the iron first, the solder will actually get stuck to the board. So you want to make sure you're not doing that. You have to take the solder off before the iron.
Especially with lead-free solder, it's a lot more finicky with that.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't mess around with lead-free solder. Like, health concerns, I'll think about that 10 years from now. The trade-off is worth it for me. Lead-free solder is so hard to work with.
I agree with that. Yeah, but we use lead-free at Pixel Blaze because it's just a larger scale.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
With lead free, you gotta hit it and get out.
As long as you're not
Yeah.
the one that's doing the soldering, if someone else gets to do it, you know.
Yeah.
I do all my soldering with lead-free just because,
Really?
like, I don't have I'd like to have a fume extraction system, but the fact that I'm doing stuff on camera, really I should fix my microphone setup so it wouldn't pick up the sound from that, but due to that, I do lead-free all the time. It also means that, like, if I forget to wash my hands, it's not as big of a tragedy. You do sometimes need to add more. Aisha's going, no, Rojas! She gave an amazing talk at SuperCon, by the way, about sustainable electronics. Check that out for sure. I'm going to add it in the links in the description after the fact. I'm keeping track of a ton of different tabs that I'm going to pull into links and put in the description of this video after the fact. So be sure, and we might add these videos to the Hackster tutorial, in which case it'll make it really easy to find. And then, yeah, you'll be able to find all this stuff. So we're going to put your talk on there because it was so cool. If I touch leaded circuit boards, I'm start getting headaches in minutes. Dang.
Skill issue.
Yeah. So, what up?
Skill issue.
Well, I think it's a skill issue if you can't solder with lead free, because I've been doing it for
fair
years.
point. I'm just coping over here.
I know.
You have to put me
I
on
can
though. I need to
smell
know
it,
what
the goop from
lead-free
here.
solder you're using. It's been like 3 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does matter which kind you use. And I don't have this off the top of my head. I've had a whole lot of, I nailed it randomly on this thread, but I don't remember the name of this solder. But Ben, my
I don't even know what
coworker,
brand this is.
yeah,
just like-
there's a
but it's-
really good brand of lead free.
Tin 99.3, copper some 0.7, and then I think one of the big things is if you just add more flux. I actually don't do that because I'm lazy, but like if you have more flux on hand, I think that can really help with lead free.
True.
Can we link Ben's article? I'm going to need a little bit more context on that about lead free solder. Is that it?
Yeah, this is just an inside tip. I will get it from him and tell Alex. Hackster Alex. So
Glow works.
Hackster Alex. And also,
Hackster Alex works too.
yesterday I was at Lowe's. This solder here costs $17.
Nice.
This
Oh, that's
at
like
Lowe's-
electrical.
That's insane.
It's
You're
electrical,
working
but
with-
it has like a circuit board on there, right? And this is like the only solder they have in their section. Of course, like I'm now in Cincinnati, so there's like no more Radio Shack, and I'm like, I just need some.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I actually don't even know like where to buy solder nowadays besides
I'm
online.
spoiled. I've got an electronic surplus store literally next to me called JK Electronics. I used to go there as a kid when I was working on I think I was like hacking calculators at the time, like TI-84s and modifying them. But
Nice.
I'd pull up, I was like 14 years old, and they'd be like, "Are you lost?" And I was like, "Yeah, where's the candy aisle?" But I went there and I picked up some Weller. I think I got this for like $15. That is ridiculous, though. That's a small spool of solder. For
Nice.
what you paid.
yeah.
And it's giant. I'm impressed that Ginger
I
is
know.
soldering with that.
This will
We have
last
a
me like the whole week.
Yeah. We got a Weller recommendation. We got Kester from Aisha recommendation for lead-free solder. All
I
kinds of
trust
different stuff.
Aisha for
You
sure.
can get in bars.
Yeah.
That's metal as hell. That is so cool.
How's your solder coming, Ginger?
So actually, like actually the solder I'm using right here, right? You know, it's like this copper tin. Alex, I'm going slow. This is like a new soldering iron, so you know.
You got it.
You're
You
using
got it.
massive solder.
I've got mine put
Ooh,
in
check
place.
this out.
Woohoo! Okay.
Yeah.
So then that's ready for step 1.
Yep.
And
Pretty much what you're going for with castellation, it's going to be different than through-hole soldering. I'll pull up like what the ideal through-hole looks like.
Yeah.
But with castellation, it's like you can kind of just coerce where you want the solder to go. And I just try to get the blob, like the fat, to roll smoothly from the board to here. You see how it's just like kind of bridged over like that? If you get any weird anomalies where there's like spiking with solder that's sticking up, that's where I think it was you, Alex, that mentioned flux or the lack thereof. Comes in handy. So flux is basically a paste that's used to facilitate solder flow. So solder has a tendency to follow the heat source. Like if I'm melting solder without flux and I take my iron off, it's going to want to follow where the heat is and spike up. Kind of what flux does is it lets the molten metal adhere to itself. So by just applying a dab of flux, I hope I have some on me. If you get any weird shapes that aren't ideal, oh, thank you for this conspicuous looking syringe of flux.
Hey, it
If you
works.
apply just a dab of flux,
usually use a wax thing.
yeah, if you apply just a dab of flux to any weird looking solder joints, it'll just coerce it right back into shape. And this is pretty much what you're looking for. It should be smooth. It should be shiny. If you get anything that's like dingy looking, flux will help you out. Flux is your best friend.
We got some more comments. Tamington is a good lead-free solder as well, apparently. Bars are fun. This makes me think about solder fountains, which is so cool. Got to see one at Adafruit a long time ago, where they were manufacturing a bunch of boards, and basically like it's a mass production thing where it rolls the boards through like on a bagel machine or whatever, but they've got this literal fountain of solder like spurting up from the bottom, like coating the contacts together. So cool.
A solder
Anyway.
fondue fountain sounds like a fun party trick. We should bring that to SuperCon
Oh
next
yeah,
year.
the fume nightmares. Everyone.
Just let the kids touch it.
Forbidden fondue. Love it.
So what's step 2?
Yeah.
Let me see your board,
I'm pulling
Ginger.
this up.
Come here. Show us the board.
Yeah.
Board.
Right here, right? So through hole
Oh,
soldering.
cool. You're going with the through hole.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So if you are following,
right, I have to take the that little sticker that's on.
yes, you will have to.
Yeah. But then later, how do you do this part of the solder when?
Yeah. Provided you've got the microcontroller soldered down, you will need to snip off the pin header since you're doing the through hole. The second step is just the expansion pin header on the side. So I'm going to switch back over to my document camera.
Yeah.
This pretty much, it mounts relatively flush with the circuit board. Like if I was just to put it down on the table, you can prop it up with something. I've got this like
Radico.
Radico? Is that
Radico.
Radico, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's for watchmakers.
Nice.
Oh.
You can just use something to prop it up underneath here.
Oh, okay. Like a little cushion.
Yeah, but the pin headers are exposed here. And
See if I can show that. Come on, focus.
you got this sponge from underneath you.
I'm pulling up Rodico, the putty. While you're doing that, I'll just show a couple more links. So, with this
let me come over
watchmaking
here
putty,
and do it this way.
this is
while we
another
wrap
spot
around the
where
table.
tack soldering comes in really handy, actually, as well for me. Even if I just like hand hold it for one, in order to attach one of the header pins, then I can like rotate it around. Use that same tack soldering method for this as well, or you can do the other stuff. A while ago, we talked about Quick and Sema QT because this version of the DevKitty, the CutieCat has, or wait, is it the Whisker has one? Anyway, Quick
Both of them do.
connectors, both of them, awesome. So these are basically equivalent. Adafruit has a description of how they're different on their website, but they're mostly compatible. So Stemma Qt and Quick, they're similar to to other I2C plug-and-play systems like
Yeah, they're 100%
Seed
compatible.
Groove.
The only distinction that I've found is some of the I2C addresses may overlap.
Aha,
So
yeah.
I know there's like an index of Adafruit sensors where like if you're one of the things that I'm actually building right now is just a completely plug and play index. I want to build like a sensor garden specifically for monitoring my plants. I want to just have like sorry, cut out. An interface where I don't actually have to program the sensors. I just plug it in and it's got like a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, like that kind of thing. So I'm indexing all of the known I2C sensors so it can automatically detect when it's plugged in, like what kind of thing it's interfacing with. But yeah, there might be some discrepancies between the Adafruit sensors and the SparkFun sensors.
Yeah, so it
but
says
pinout
here
is
on
exactly the same.
yeah. I got this page up. It says that the difference is that Quick only has level shifting and voltage regulation on the controller, not devices. So you can use Stemma and Stemma Qt devices with any Quick controller, and you can use Quick devices on a Stemma controller if you set the voltage jumper from 5 volts to 3 volts and have a cable that converts the 2mm to 1mm pitch connector, which I think that's just for the regular Stemma. Stemma Qt I think is the same pitch as Quick. Here we go. They got EDA Veronica EZC as well. Funnily enough, SparkFun Quick used to be called the Whisker system, so I think it was spelled differently.
That's
but
funny.
Yeah, Whiskers everywhere. It's a cute name, you know. I can see why everyone goes for that.
All right, I've got the little pin header up here.
Yeah.
Similar technique. With through hole, you've got something that's physically sticking through the hole. I guess there's 3 different types of things that you can solder, right? Castellated, we just took a look at, where it's like edge mounted and you solder directly on a circuit board. Through hole is by far the easiest. It's something that physically sticks through the hole and you've got the pin that's poking through the circuit board. And then there's surface mount components. Everything over here I've taken care of. These are all the surface mount things. Machines usually do this, but if you've been soldering for a while and you've got practice and fine enough pitch, you can do this by hand too. But yeah, the pin header, it's real easy. I'm going to make contact with the pin that's sticking up and the pad on the circuit board at the same time, so they both heat up well. I'll feed in the solder, take off the solder. Nope. Let me do that one more time. I'll take off the solder first, and then the iron, and then it's in place. Again, for similar reasoning, like you want to make sure that it's adjusted with just one pin tacked down first. Like if I accidentally soldered this on lopsided, since I've only committed to one pin at this point, right? What I can do is just readjust that one pin, and I'm fine. I haven't gotten everything else soldered down. I haven't like fully committed yet. So we're chilling.
And what's happening right now, if you see the solder turning into putty, that's because the flux isn't there to help it flow. Yeah. So as Alex added just a little bit more solder to there, some flux came out of the core of that solder and helped the rest of it flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the sake of demonstrating, especially in leaded solder, you'll have rosin core.
Screw it up.
There you go. It's fixed again.
You're just showing how to fix it.
Mm-hmm. That looks great. I'll often do a messy tack solder for the first pin and then do the rest and then come back and fix the first one because that's just functional, you know, it's just a mechanical.
That looks beautiful right there.
Mm.
Yeah, smoke.
Yep.
We got more people saying Flux is magic, Flux is your friend. We have some patch keychains for Hackster branding. Yeah,
awesome.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, step 3.
Hell yeah.
You know, hold on. It actually says step 2 up here as. Okay, Alex, it says step 2 here, like in this middle thing, and then step 3 is display.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on track. Step 1, we did the microcontroller. Step 2, we already got the pin header on, and then we're on to the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay. So step 2 is pin header.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
It is listed that way on our little tutorial here.
Yeah, it's here, like in the middle of the board here, like step 2, and then step 3 is like.
Oh, it's labeled on the board too. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I need to make that disclaimer. The step 2 that's here is put foam tape there. So if you want to switch back over to my document camera,
Sure.
you can see I've put some double-sided sticky tape here. The reason for that is the screen has a little bit of a standoff distance with this pin header that's on there. So in order for it to sit nice on the circuit board, I've added a little bit of foam tape underneath.
Oh.
But the foam tape is completely optional. In your case, you had to remove it since you added the pin headers.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
I have a little bit of input. I just want to thank Alex for walking me through how to make mine. I want to say 2 years ago at SuperCon. It was just a really, really accessible, delightful workshop. And so kudos. And then for Flux, I use Kester pen.
Nice.
Recommended from Alpenglow, who's in the chat. That's all.
Woo. Alpenglow is awesome. I should pull up their site in a second. Alpenglow. They make really cool soldering kits.
Holiday gift list, or was that somebody else? I swear to God.
Yeah, Aisha put made a holiday gift list for Hackster and put Alpenglow kits on it.
Okay,
I
cool.
should pull that up too. But here
Was
we
that
go.
Black
Alpenglow
Friday?
Industries.
Yeah, Carrie makes some truly awesome stuff.
Oh, so much cool stuff. I love these little weather kits. I saw this little angry cloud on and I fell in love. I love it so much.
Oh, so cute.
And if you go to the shop, I think they might still have a holiday sale on. Let's see. This is a new product. Let's find. What do we got on sale? Oh yeah, you can get through-hole soldering kits. Check this guy out. You can get more of these. This is incredible. Like, these deals are ludicrous, folks. All kinds of cool stuff. And then I'm going to pull up Aisha's gift guide in just a second. We got some more comments here from the crowd. We got Chippertoodles recommends using a non-power pin as the tack pin.
We can invite
Yeah, we got David.
now. Can
Hey.
David come in?
And David was wondering why. Welcome,
yeah.
David. I was talking about our card computer adventures earlier. So apparently, in case they have a power fill layer, which makes sense, often you'll have like a ground plane and maybe a positive ground power plane as well. It's less common on 2-layer boards than with ground, but it can still happen. Interesting. It kind of makes sense. If your pin is connected to a big fill layer, it's going to suck down a lot more heat because that's basically one big heat sink. And so if you, I'm assuming this is the reasoning, is that like if you want to use that as a tack pin, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So you use a non-power pin, not because it's going to damage anything, but because it'll suck down a ton of heat, take a bunch of energy and time, and like probably kill your flux at the same time. So
Precisely that. And if you're reheating too many
flux
times, you kind of lose that efficacy. Like you noticed when I was reheating that first pin a couple times, it started to become this shapen.
Gets like crumbly.
You can see through the holes.
Yep.
Yeah. All
Ginger,
kinds of good
how are
stuff.
you doing?
Well, I finished actually the connector, so I went back to Xiao because I need to finish that.
Nice.
But feel free to move on because I think we are short on time here, so feel free to go into the display.
Technically, we're overtime, but I'm down to hang out as long as you are.
Yeah. So I think for that display, right? It's like put it in and solder it on the back.
Yeah. So with the display, you can just peel off the double-sided sticky tape. The kits that I shipped out should all have this on here already.
We're getting some loud typing noises from somewhere.
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
So you can just peel off the double-sided sticky tape, insert your screen, and press it into place. So preferably, you should press around the edges, but be really careful of these glass edges here. They have an overhang, they can shatter. So just press on the edge up here, like on the actual blue circuit board, and you can press down in the center of the screen to get it stuck on.
Well, that hurts my heart seeing your finger on that screen.
Oh, yeah. They're actually pretty resilient.
There's still also the protector on the screen.
The protector is, it's a lie. It doesn't do a whole lot.
So
Is it
where do you stand on where do we all stand on the keep the film on hashtag debate? I know that Joey Castillo is real big on fomenting this debate among the maker community. What do y'all think? Keep the film on or take the film off?
Keep it
Despite
on.
my heritage, I have to take the film off.
I
I
keep the
gotta
film
take it
on
off for
until
aesthetic
someone
reasons.
says something.
Live a
My
little.
parents are a big keep the film on kind of people, but me personally, no.
We've got some passionate people in the chat.
Yeah, I think we actually even have a Discord channel that's dedicated
We
to
do on the Hackster Discord.
on.
Yes, thank you, Aisha.
Yeah. Ooh, you can also get 5 packs of angry PCBs from Alpenglow. That's super cool. Also, Aisha says, in terms of the tag soldering, maybe use thermal relief on a power pin. Yeah, that makes sense. I keep the LCD in a box so the film is both on and off at the time because you can't observe it. Troll. I took it off
Schrodinger's
because I think
DevKitty.
that you gotta live your life. I believe in wabi sabi. I believe in embracing the slings and arrows of living and like not pretending like we can keep things perfect all the time. And like honestly, I think the film is ugly. It drives me bonkers when I see the film still on there. I'm gonna stop my screen here because I get to talk about stuff on the channel whenever I want. But
This is why we need 2 Alexes on the stream. Like you can empathize for me and my sentiment about keeping film on the screen.
yeah,
It's a
Taking it off,
screen
rather.
protector.
It's
yeah.
ineffective. Do you want to watch me shatter the screen
It's
right now?
ugly
Is it
though.
fixing?
It's like not performing its function.
Exactly. I actually enjoy when I shatter my phone screen. I look forward to it. I'm like, it adds a little bit of character to it.
that is a
This
hot
one's
take.
bugging out. Yeah, I just
He's
shattered
pretty
it.
Nice.
Like, this one.
And then you get to control the conversation of people pointing it out.
It's like me with my 50,000 tabs that are always up. I get to troll everyone else with them.
Well, let me sign up with my own TLB.
All right, let me shatter this, and we're pretty much good
Yeah,
to go.
we have the bad Alex and the worse Alex. Balance and force.
I thought you were gonna say the bad Alex and the good Alex.
I know. It was the joke, JPEG.
So is Alex done now? Did he got the display on?
You got
Yeah,
the
I got
display
the display stuck down.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
It's like you've done this before.
Right.
Ginger is doing a
A
great job of
million
keeping us
times, a
aware of the
million
time
times.
constraints.
Yeah. So,
Everyone, let me know how you're doing.
yeah.
terms of
So
time.
that seems so then put that into the case, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Along with the D-pad on top of the
All
button.
right, I've got my screen soldered on.
Cool.
I have nothing to show, but I have been successfully flashing CircuitPython onto my board, and
Cool.
if I had time, I would stick some pins in and run the same LEDs you've been seeing off of the board, because you can do that.
Wow.
Feel free to share your
Is that
screen if you
tutorial?
like. Whether you feel cool about that.
Not right now. I feel like it'd
Okay.
be too much of a mess and a distraction,
That's
but
cool.
it is fun to be poking at it.
Yeah. What is your so for this workshop, it was recommended that we work with Mu, the Mu editor, which is good for MicroPython and CircuitPython. Are you using that? Are you using a different IDE or web editor or?
I was in VS Code, and I also am using Mu.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've also seen recommendations for Thonny in the past. I think that one might be. Is that one Adafruit's one that they recommend for CircuitPython? Let's see. Thonny.
I was gonna say, what's really nice about the CircuitPython
Python
kind of paradigm is everything can be done completely from a web interface. So Google Chrome came out with a feature called Web Serial, I think for the purpose of like flashing Google Pixels. But you can use this to communicate with serial devices now, like ESP32s. You can use it to program them from a web interface. So if you go to code.circuitpython.org, you can use their text editor to interface with this and write your code there. I've had some issues for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I'm on Linux, but other people have had luck with this. You can even program it over Wi-Fi, which is pretty amazing.
Terrifying.
But everything from the flashing process of like uploading firmware and programming in CircuitPython, you can do all this completely from a web UI.
Adafruit also has this big list of recommended editors, including Mu first, Do we say Mew or Moo? Okay, it's DevKitty. It's got to be Mew, hasn't it?
Meow. Meow.
Mew.
Oh, we lost Alex, Lynd, and
Oh,
Amelia
no.
/ ask.
Maybe.
We have another comment from Aisha. I've been full sending my CircuitPython code on Notepad++.
Notepad
10
plus
times.
plus.
Flex.
Hold on. What?
Wow.
Plus plus.
I use
Oh.
Sublime Text a lot, so you know I can't judge. I think that like I don't think you need like this is like the little
Yes.
log cabin in the woods kind of version. You know, it's like I don't
Right.
need a whole IDE just to write a text file because usually it's just a single text file. Oh yeah, Mew plus Xiao equals meow.
Meow.
Actually, you know what? For our giveaway, I was thinking about coming up with a code, but I think we're just gonna do it in the as part of the finale. So, just to remind everyone, real quick, while we wait for our folks to get back online, we are giving away. Oh, here we go. We're giving away a dozen more of these. Alex, I'll add you and join when you're ready. Cool. Giving away a dozen more of these. Find them on Hackster holidays. Tune in for the finale, and you can get win one of those. So you can tune in, and you can enter the drawing, enter the giveaway, and add the this bundle, the DevKitty bundle, CutieCat thing, as your preferred hardware. So
And the iFixit kit is actually in our
yes,
workbench
grand
bundle.
prize giveaway bundle.
So anyone, like put in your name because you might just be the ultimate workbench winner.
Ooh, that's tempting. Yes, I'll
And
do
this is that thing that we were all salivating over. Like I have the station here with the little stand, and you can swap the holder to either side. But then you'd also get this mini brass coil with a case on it, so you can actually close it up, so you don't end up with like little bits of solder, like little beads of solder all over your stuff, and
Love
then
that.
like little bits of little tiny tube of flux. Got strippers, clippers. This is like a self vulcanizing, I think. Well, actually, is it silicone? Anyway, it cures to itself, which you can use it as heat shrink. You can use it as like a wrap for anything, some kind of adhesive. So basically, you pull it and stretch it out. They're little strips of tape. You pull, stretch it out, and then like wrap it around something, and it sticks to itself and not to other stuff, and then basically cures into a single piece, and it's heat resistant.
Wow.
Really cool, right?
Talking about heat shrink, Alex, we have Hackster branded heat shrinks, and we should
We
totally
do.
throw it in there.
We should okay, yeah. Let's cuz Ginger, you're getting hold of the giveaway kits, right?
Yeah, we should get more of those Hackster heat shrinks.
You're going to be
Now
getting
that
some
you
stickers, and
mention it,
also yeah, we have this Hackster branded heat shrink. I'm proud of that. That was one of my giveaway ideas, was to get like branded light blue heat shrink with our logo on it, cuz I can always use consumables. We also
Absolutely.
have these patch keychains, and I designed one that says use more flux.
We do have that one, right?
Nice.
Yeah, we do have we have the use more flux one, and then we have a measure
twice, cut once, but got the missing E. That's an old standard electronics joke. Or not just electronics, even like it might come from carpentry or something. All kinds of different stuff. What else have we got?
I have to make you guys a custom Hackster PCB keychain with. I just ordered some matte blue PCB.
No way!
These are the regular blue from PCBWay, but this is the matte black with immersion gold, and I use this to make some CutieCat keychains, which Ginger thought this was like for a cat tag, but maybe RFID or something.
Oh
like that.
yeah, no way!
But it'd be really fun, like for the next giveaway, to make Hackster edition PCB keychains.
Yeah.
So I've been working on
add
a
on to
similar
the
thing.
class,
I made
right?
little blinkies with the Avnet, this Avnet guitar pick PCB that I designed that actually works as a guitar pick and also is a little blinky LED thing. And I've been working on making like a Hackster version of that that's just our logo. But if we can get the like matte blue recommendation from you, that'd be amazing. We can combine the two, the little tag you made and the little blinky I've been making, which you can also use as an earring. Ginger's got a set of these that she wears around, and they're a very simple. They don't even blink. They're just like literally an LED circuit with a switch on it, because wearables have to have switches, in my opinion.
It's super pretty. I think Alex, the right now it's like has a green LED on there, right? For kind of Avnet color.
For Avnet, yeah.
We could totally you know, like.
Oh yeah, it would be a blue. It would be a blue LED for Hackster. I just gotta fix my CutieCat install, and then I'm gonna be updating this to be our logo and have a blue one.
Did
You can see I hadn't yet ended the mouse bites off. Bad me.
I haven't heard of KiCad, but I've heard of KiCad.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, so yes. I've also heard that technically, because they're European, it's KiCad. I'm not sure if that's your reasoning.
So is it?
I have no reasoning. I just
For
go
me,
off that.
It's a GIF.
just purely based on vibes, I like KiCad because I have a workshop that I call iPad to KiCad, where you hand draw traces. Chipperdoodles has been doing some of this as well, actually. Hand drawing PCB traces, and then I do that on my iPad with Procreate, and then transfer that into KiCad, but because it rhymes, I gotta say it that way. We lost Alex again, but you seem to have removed yourself.
Yeah, but I think we've kind of come towards the end of this workshop, and we have the second part, like of the programming aspect, we will release later. But
Yeah,
I want to wrap this.
yeah,
part.
let's wrap it up. Okay,
Yeah, this
cool.
has been a really great intersection of all the interesting nerdy things that we work on. Claire with your beautiful LEDs and your wearables, and Alex with your very festive cat ears, and also the wearables that you got to share with us in the last minute. I hope at some point we all get to collaborate on a project together. It'd be cool to fabricate something.
Oh yeah,
The
I
art
can't
we
wait.
could
That'd be
make,
awesome.
though, right?
Yeah, that'd be really sweet. But yeah,
We
I
gotta
really
do it.
appreciate you guys for entertaining this workshop and for helping out. And I think the
Thank
second
you for
part of
making
it
this happen.
was-
I can't wait for this to I can't wait to get my thingy in the mail, and then for
Oh yeah,
for part
Running
2
numbers.
put it together. Running through our tabs again real quick, we've got Hackster Holidays. Be sure to sign up for the giveaway and specify this kit for your giveaway, and then tune in for the finale. We'll also email you if you win. We got about a dozen of those to give away. You can go to our virtual events and webinars playlist to see part 2 and also the finale. But also you can just I'm going to link the second one in the description to this video as well, along with a bunch of other stuff that we've talked about today. You can already find down there the Hackster Cafe casual interview featuring Alex Lynd, creator of the DevKitty series of kits, all the way from the Wi-Fi Nugget to this CutieCat and the upcoming Whisker on Crowd Supply, which you should sign up for now. I don't have that tab up, but I'll put it in the description as well. Build your own cat-themed hacking console. You can find the tutorial for this workshop both on our main page as a featured project. Just go to Hackster.io, scroll down to featured projects, and right now it's number 1. If you watch this later, you can just go to the DevKitty platform page, and you'll be able to find this, as well as in the future other projects featuring the DevKitty. Go to DevKitty.io to learn more about the entire ecosystem and what you can do with it. There's also specific instructions for CutieCat and more information about its specs and features and stuff like that. I think that's where I should stop. But in part 2 we'll be looking at some CircuitPython LED animations, as well as loading payloads onto these. Could be malware, could be just something fun and cute. Either way, join us for part 2 on this Friday, December 27th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to have more cool people. I think Aisha's going to be back. I think David Groom might be joining us, even though he has some really bad opinions, as you can see here. But that's why it's fun to have more people on here. You're outnumbered, David. I can just make you vanish, but I think it's fun to have these conversations. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining in the chat. I see you in the chat as well as on screen, Claire. Alpha Glow, Carrie, good to see you.
Oh, we need to take a group picture before we get off.
Yes!
Oh, yes, we do.
Can't wait.
Taking a screenshot.
Yes.
Whisker?
I'm gonna put this. Oh no!
Okay.
I'm gonna put this on
Right,
here
yeah.
because that's gonna be my backup.
Like Whisker?
Oh, whiskers! Oh, that's so cute. I don't know how to do that. How do I do that?
Whisker?
Someone's gotta do
Horns?
the screenshot too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
someone.
hold this up and do a screenshot. So
Okay. Oh, are you doing the screenshot, Alex?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
All right, cool. We got you.
Love you all.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you,
David
people.
has some ill-deserved fans. See you, everybody. Thanks for joining.
next
Catch
time.
you in
Take
part
care.
2. Ciao.
Bye.